Hi, my name is Kara, and welcome to the last installation of a 3-part series of how to make all 3 of Naoki Yoshimoto's cubes, each with their own unique shape-shifting abilities. Today we'll be making cube number 3. This cube is just one piece, but it can be transformed into a variety of shapes. Though some of you may have already seen this cube around the internet. Andreas, the creator of Geobender cubes, takes this puzzle to the next level. These are paper cubes made with neomydium rare earth magnets, so multiple cubes can be combined to create even more shapes. If you're interested in these cubes, they're available for purchase on the Geobender website. I've linked that in the description, and they just go to show what is possible with geometry. Now, I printed mine on black cardstock, and I also used colored printer paper for the tiles. I think the colors really bring this model to life, and if you're interested in any of the paper that I used, I will be linking that in the description as well. Also in the description is a Google Drive link with all the Yoshimoto cube templates as well as a bunch of other fun crafts. These are all available for free, so you can go ahead and print out the template. You should have 4 sheets of modules and 1 sheet of hinges. Now I've printed out my template on white cardstock. It's a little bit thicker than printer paper, but don't worry, printer paper works just fine. Your final cube might just be a little bit more flimsy. Next, you're going to go ahead and grab a ruler and a dead pen. This is a pen that doesn't work anymore. We're going to use it to score the paper. So you're going to go ahead and trace all the lines that we're going to be folding. Trust me, it's worth it. It's going to leave these little grooves in the paper, which is going to make it so much easier to fold the paper. It's a bit hard to see, but here is the paper when it's scored, and when I flip it over, you can kind of see those indentations on the back. And now that you're done scoring, it's time to start cutting out your modules. So just run around the border of all of those modules. There's 3 on each page, 4 sheets. That means there's going to be 12 modules, so make sure you didn't lose any in the process of cutting them out. And it should look a little something like this. Go ahead and double check, make sure you have 12, and then we can start to collapse all of our pieces. Now here is where our scoring is going to come in handy. Notice how the folds just snap into place. It's super satisfying. And to get an even sharper fold, I recommend grabbing a nearby blunt edge, like the edge of a glue stick, and running over those creases. And because I don't want printer ink showing on my final model, I'm going to be collapsing this inside out. You should end up with a neat little pyramid. We're going to leave it as it is, no tape or glue yet, and we're going to collapse all of the other modules. So next we're going to start mapping out our chain. You can do this by pairing up the modules, and notice how we're creating a sort of zigzag pattern. Do what you need to, take a screenshot. If it's not in this zigzag pattern, your model is not going to work. Now from here we have to create hinges where all of the edges of the modules are touching. Now you could just use clear tape as the hinges and your model will work just fine, but it's not going to be as aesthetically pleasing as these invisible hinges. So go ahead and grab your hinge sheet. We're going to be scoring down the center of all of the hinges, and then you can go ahead and cut those out. Once you have all those cut out, fold along the scored line down the center both ways, preferably with a blunt edge like the edge of a glue stick. And now we're ready to start connecting our modules. Go ahead and grab yourself a pyramid and take it apart. We're going to start gluing just along this flap here, and we're going to seal this shut similarly to the pyramids in cube number 1. And do watch out for the corner pieces, they don't always like to stick. Your pyramid should look something like this, and we're going to go ahead and grab another one to create our hinge. So that hinge is going to be hidden inside of its surrounding pyramids. So go ahead and grab some glue. I like to use white glue for this part, though you do want to use it sparingly, so I recommend grabbing a stick or disposable chopstick to spread the glue in a thin film. I think that makes for a stronger bond, and it also dries a lot quicker. Now notice how I'm only coating half of the hinge with glue. We're going to coat both sides of that half, making sure to, again, use our glue sparingly. We don't want to warp the paper or make it rip. And then we're going to carefully insert it into the edge of the pyramid, and that's going to seal off that side. I also think it helps to run your nail across the edge and fold the hinge back and forth. Now that you've got a piece that looks something like this, we're going to glue the other pyramid to that hinge. And once you've applied a thin film of glue to that exposed hinge, you can go ahead and connect it to another pyramid. Remember to be aware of the positioning of the pyramids. You can always refer back to the map from earlier. Now you're going to keep adding hinges, making sure to be sparing with the glue. Keep checking the map, making sure you do not glue a piece on the wrong way. It's a pain to get the hinges apart. And sometimes it helps to grab some tape to hold the pieces in place as they dry. Once you finish taping, your model should look a little something like this. You should have just one more hinge, and we're going to use that to connect the ends of the zigzag chain into a loop. And you know the drill, go ahead and spread a thin layer of glue on both sides of the hinge. Repeat and connect. Now while it might look like we're done, we're actually not, because we have to wait for the glue to dry. Because the glue is wet, the paper is more likely to rip, so please let it dry before you take the tape off. Once you finish peeling off the tape, congratulations, you have a functional Yoshimoto cube, but unfortunately it's looking a bit bland, so let's add some color. Here I've printed the tile template onto some colored paper. I'm going to be following my rainbow color pattern, but you don't have to. The triangle tiles for the hexagons can be found here on the template, and this longer triangle piece is located here. Here are my tiles laid out by color. There are 6 tiles in each pile for a total of 36. And then you're gonna go ahead and glue your tiles onto your cube. Please feel free to get creative. You don't have to do everything that I do. You can draw designs, use different colors. It's really up to your imagination. And there you have it, your very own Yoshimoto cube number 3, and I hope you have fun discovering all the different transformations. But for those of you who've made all 3 cubes, you are now ready to make Megastar. Go ahead and collapse Yoshimoto cube number 1 into a cube. Grab cube number 2 and turn it into a rhombic dodecahedron. Insert cube 1 inside of the rhombic dodecahedron created by cube 2. Turn cube number 3 into its 6-pointed star. And finally, insert your rhombic dodecahedron inside of the negative space. And there you have Megastar. Now, if you've made a cube and want to show me, go ahead and do it. My last video on TikTok, I'd love to see all of your creations. I hope you guys had as much fun as I did making all of these models. If you like this video, I also make a bunch of other origami and papercraft tutorials here on YouTube and TikTok. And if you're into that kind of thing, I encourage you to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of those. That being said, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you stick around.